Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
What's going on? It's your man, I Make Mad Beats, live from outer space, an unapologetic studio. And this is, of course, Tight Beat. Today we got a special guest in the house, but we're going to go around. We're going to start with my man, Bone Thugs and Harmony over here, Kendrick Lamar. What's your name, man? Talk to him.
It's Kid Maestro, you know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
The retwist, you know what I mean?
The retwist.
Maestro with the retwist.
I don't even, all right. Man.
It's C major.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Red.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What up, LJ1S.
Indeed.
You know what it is.
Indeed. And today we got a lot of interesting things to discuss. I feel like we just had a podcast before the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Kendrick Lamar. What are we talking about? Kendrick Lamar. With the retwist. What we talking about?
Maestro retwisted, you know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, so did you make the list? You know what I'm saying? Did you make the list?
Did you make the list? Who made it?
Exactly.
Was you on it?
Which list?
Yeah.
Why weren't you on it? Why wasn't I on it?
Or did you actually write it? Was it you that actually wrote the list?
Were you the author of the list? You know what I mean?
Because we don't know who be making these lists.
Right.
Just pop up overnight type.
Red on the beat before we got started, bro. Like he had an interesting topic. It was like, yo, what's the importance of these lists? Do you care? I feel like you had some very interesting opinions that you were saying for this, John. So what's up with these top lists, these bottom lists?
Nah, man. I don't know, man. I just feel like whoever wakes up and thinks about creating a list of the top whatever, it's technically their favorites or whoever they see when they get on IG or whoever somebody else is talking to or playing, and it's like they're not even knowledgeable of like just what's, I wouldn't say what's going on outside of swiping, on social media and stuff like that. Like, and I just feel like it gets the most attention when these lists come out. And I don't know if it make or break people, if it change people's life. It might not. It might, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like the amount of traffic that goes to that, and it has people thinking. But 9 times out of 10, it only blows up because the comments are who everybody else thinks should be on that list. Yeah, and
That makes sense.
it'd be one weird name that nobody knows on that junk. I be feeling like that's the person that made the list right there. For sure.
My question is there anybody Are you ever? Do you ever feel like there's a list that comes out and they was qualified to make that list, or this list should have existed in the first place?
That's a good
What,
one.
so I mean, yeah. So the question is like, what would qualify
Right.
someone to make a list? So first and foremost, of the culture, right? That's that's the ground.
Yeah.
You got to be of the culture. You can't be. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. When I say of the culture, you know what I mean. You got to be from where we. You got to have the context. You got to understand what's important to the community that created this.
Right.
Right, of the culture. I'm gonna throw that in.
Nah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Like you said, you got to be from here. You can't be from around the corner. You know what I'm saying? On the good block. You know. So I feel like that's definitely. You got to know like the steps, the bricks that people put down first. You know what I'm saying? For you to even think about a list. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, it's just like if BT, you know, dropped a list on, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that's in their lane. That's over in the black entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And if MTV was to make one or something like that, it's like everybody's list is gonna go against. You know what I'm saying? It might not. This list of artists might not cross over. This list of producers might not cross over to, you know, that side or their list. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, hey, look, I don't know. I don't know who list would be valid. You know what I'm saying?
What's the right list?
God's list. No, man.
I got a question. So with the list, have y'all ever looked at the list and like scouted based off of the list as far as like artists you want to work with or anything? Like if you see the list, you're like, oh, okay, these are the top artists that they say in the city or whatever. You be like, all right, let me.
Oh, so we've officially moved to the city.
I'm just saying.
I just wanna,
If we okay, I'm
All right.
on
All
some
right.
local shit. Yeah, have
Okay.
y'all ever like looked at the list and be like, man, okay, let me check these artists out. Let me link with these artists or whatever because these are the guys on the list, the top list or whatever.
Nah.
I mean, I've never done it, but
Nah.
you say nah.
Nah, I can't say. I don't know. I feel like I'm super active because I don't even be seeing these lists.
Yeah.
I don't even be seeing these lists.
I feel like these lists be on Facebook, bro.
Yeah, they definitely be on Facebook. They definitely on Facebook. Yeah. Not on Facebook.
They don't make it to Instagram like that.
Yeah, I definitely don't see it.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm over here like, damn, what? I don't even see this. What they be
Yeah, bro.
doing? Slow.
I'll get tagged in those.
Yeah, he's not make music no more.
That makes a lot of sense, bro. I'm over here.
But since you said that, that's how they show up. I might have a tag or somebody might share it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, bro, don't tag me in this shit. Like,
Off top, no, I definitely, man. Anytime, that's facts, man. Because a lot of times, like, I'll get tagged either I'm on the list or I'm not on the list, and somebody's tagging me in the comments.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to get me to come here and be mad at something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I don't want nothing to do with none of this, bro. I'm good.
Man, nah, for sure.
I know for me, I've definitely like seen these lists, especially when I first started. I've seen these lists, and because certain people wasn't on the list, I'm like, bro, this shit ain't legit. I've definitely felt that several times.
Yeah.
And that got me looking like, okay, all y'all niggas, y'all just friends. You know? Because I'm like, if you truly paying attention to what's going on, it's like, how can certain people not be on this list
Right.
if this list supposed to represent?
Yeah, niggas in Memphis world be small too.
Nah, for sure.
Niggas really don't be knowing like
Yeah.
outside of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Area.
Not even that though. Like, okay, I'll take it even further. First of all, Memphis is rather small community and socially, right? But what I find even crazier, this is one of the first revelations I had when I came back to Memphis from New York, was how much like, even as small as Memphis is, it's really like 8 different Memphises. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very possible, like, for somebody to like not intentionally leave somebody off a list. They just don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it really be like 8 different bubbles at any given moment, 8 different cliques, 8 different. We throw in a hip hop show and these is the hip hop representatives or whatever, and they just don't even know you
They just-
exist.
exactly.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying. So because you don't know, like, does that make you valid enough to make the list?
Yeah, but in they world,
they don't know what they don't know.
everything.
They don't know what they don't know.
Nobody
But
knows everything.
yeah, they don't know what they don't know. But then on top of that, they're validated in their world.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So I mean, like, you know, in their world, they're looked at as like, yo, he's the person who organizes the events and curates the experience, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah. Then that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? But you know, literally like 2 blocks away, there's a whole different scenario of people.
The vision of everybody see stuff different.
Yeah.
Ears different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna say this. Man.
I feel like lists have their place in a positive way, and not
Always positive, bro.
not necessarily because like we need to know who you think or who this group of people, this committee of people think is the best or whatever, but just the same reason why any like forum of a group of people's ideas, you know what I'm saying, a way of thinking is important to exist. It's just to be exposed to people's ideas.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like the reason we have this podcast, for example, we talk about our opinions, and we talking about what we think. We talk about whether or not we think lists are supposed to be valid. You know, it's 6 of us in here, whatever. But there's a whole group of people who clearly feel otherwise. But us talking about this is just as valid and important to expose people about or why they shouldn't care.
Right.
Or why, you know what I'm saying? Because people get force-fed lists all their life and award shows, and now there's a group of people talking about, oh, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this doesn't hold as much as importance. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. So I just feel like it communicates a way people think and allows us to either be challenged or reaffirmed in a way on what we feel. You know what I mean?
You mentioned award shows.
You know what I mean? Shout out to I just think, all right, so when it comes to award shows, I feel like it's a dangerous game for the creatives
Right.
to be aiming to get these awards because I personally feel like it's kind of like the same thing as when you making music for social media, like for social media likes.
Right.
Like you start just making stuff for that world as opposed to making things that
This
are
feels like a
authentic.
segue into the beat battle culture jump, but we going
Yeah,
same shit.
Yeah, so it feels like you're making stuff for that instead of making things that are authentic to you. And it's possible that you could do something unique, but I feel like you start to slip into like being a cog in the wheel that you don't even know. You're not really offering something that people don't know they need. And
Right.
that's what artists are for, right?
Right.
To expose perspectives and to show people so they can relate in ways they didn't know they needed.
Right.
You
Nah,
know
for
what
sure.
I'm saying?
That's what artists are for.
So when you make
Good
when you
times.
make music, like I'm trying to get the Grammy, trying to get the BET award, trying to get the Source award, whatever. You know, and then you start being a little too calculated in my
Nah, for sure. You start aiming in the wrong direction from where you started.
Right.
But now I see it like going to the Grammys and stuff and just seeing like how it was, understanding it, and realizing I'm like none of the fans get to vote for the artists. Like the people inside the academy get to vote for the artists. So a lot of feelings and stuff be crushed because there's certain writers. I think my first time going, I think like this was like 2019. I think Lil Nas X won a bunch of Grammys or whatever. And though by accident, you know, she was there and I chopped it up with her. She was like, I ain't never coming back to this shit again. I'm like, damn, you just got, congratulations. But it'd be certain other artists that are nominated, you know what I'm saying, that people be feeling so attached to because I help, they probably put more into this project. But you got Lil Nas X coming out with a handful of them gents. I understand, but it's like, I see it. And a lot of people think that you could just go on the site and vote for whoever you want and you can't. I'm like, and that's why a lot of the artists that everybody wants to win don't win all the time. It's all inside.
It's a committee.
It's all it's all the people that's a part of the academy. And I wish the fans could vote, but you
That's
can't.
So
interesting.
that's a real thing. I feel like one of the big issues with the Grammys for me is there isn't, maybe now, but I don't know, we're in the industry. So, but I feel like there isn't really transparency around how these people win these things.
Yeah.
I feel like people would feel a lot better about the Grammys if it was explained like what this award is
Right.
for or who it's coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like we would, you know, naturally, if there was transparency about what was happening, we would feel better and naturally move towards solutions that we would want, which is a fan/audience/general population generated award.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
Award.
And the process is crazy. Like just even getting a song. So I'm able to put a song up or artist up for nomination. So it's like that process is simple. You know what I'm saying? They kind of want to see certain stuff, and you know you fill it out. And as soon as the voting round starts, maybe 400 or 500 in like one category. I'm like, oh damn, seeing the artist that you nominated right there, but it's different. It's different voting process. So it's like the first round knocks out half of them, and you got a second round. So it's like you have these rounds, and it's like, man, of course a lot of people don't make it to the second round or whatever. But it's kind of like, I think if people understood that like it's rounds of it, but it's still like you said at the end of the day. I think now with certain chapters, we're getting more people like us to like. I help like send recommendations for people that I know for sure that's doing something. That's going, if they get around the committee or whatever, they're gonna change some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a slow process, but like back in the you know how that shit was. It's you know who ran it, so it's changing a lot. But I mean, it's still got it's when you say the Grammys, you always gonna flip back to the shit in your head of how it was. You know what I'm saying? Nah, for sure, yeah.
Like that's why, like for me, like I always felt like this, man. I always felt like this. But when that Kendrick Lamar Macklemore shit happened, I was just like,
it's insane.
like we got to stop complaining about like people who don't understand the culture's idea of us and what we're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of a bigger, like, I mean, look, how many years has it been since that? Right? I don't know how many years. That was 15, so it's been like 8 years, right? Right. Okay. When's the last time you heard a nigga say the word Macklemore? Like, when's the last time you heard that?
Today, when we talk.
And so, no, I'm just saying. So I'm just saying. So like, imagine that. Like 10 years from now, when they look back, or 20 years from now, when they look back on this era of music, right? We all know that like the same way we look at rings with the NBA, we're gonna look at Grammy nominations. And who's gonna have won over Kendrick Lamar? Somebody we're not even gonna remember what he looked like. We're not even gonna remember the song. Nobody's still playing the song. Like,
Is he still an artist?
you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's wild.
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, at what point are we? I understand what you're saying about the positive side effects of these lists/award shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at some point, it's like I can't help but as an artist always feel like that. Like, this feels like trying to move to the suburbs and not valuing the hood. Like, this feels like this feels like we just want approval from people who don't know what the fuck we are and why the fuck we did this in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm not saying that there wouldn't be some level of corruption, even if it did come from people who understand the culture and the culture. Absolutely. But I would accept that way differently than somebody walking down the street. Absolutely. Whose idea of what's happening in hip hop is what his or her daughter is listening to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's different. It's hard for me to be like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so question, not to cut you off, but I don't want to just jump, but I don't know. When you said the word beat battle earlier, I kind of sensed something in here.
I mean, we're having the same conversation, right? We're having the
Right.
same conversation where it's like, I'll never forget, man, being in New York, going to beat battles, and then going to Beat Society, which wasn't a beat battle. It was a beat showcase. You know what I'm saying? And how differently audiences and producers showed up when it wasn't a battle, right? Okay, so that's number one, right? You get because eerily similar to what Kid said about making music for social media, making music to potentially compete in the Grammys, right? It puts you in this lane of catering to a certain thing, right? And here's the thing, and this is the thing that I've come to know and I've lived in my actual life, right? Is that for me, I'm not speaking for nobody else, but for me, making beats for beat battles does not help me survive or create a music career.
Exactly.
Making songs do, and making beats for songs is not the same as making beat battle beats. That's a different thing. It's just like battle rap. It's just like battle rap. Battle rap is a whole nother thing. Like one in every 6 trillion battle rapper will find his way into the music industry. The rest of them niggas will just be over here.
They will just have friends in the music industry, and it's like they don't.
You might write for somebody,
right?
And
Exactly.
Who's gonna actually take it and be and make real songs. You know what I'm saying?
I can't use these bars.
I want to make songs.
They're not gonna get this on my.
I want to make vibes. I don't want to have a drum fill every 4th bar and and be the best Pro Tools editor of the wildest things that happen every breakdown. I want to make songs that feel good, catch a vibe, and become a soundtrack to a moment in your life. That's my goal as a musician. So exactly.
And I think me starting off making beats and stuff like that, it was really no objective. It was kind of like I like putting all these weird sounds together, you know what I'm saying? And every time I did it like I was surprised myself even more. So then it was like, of course, I got older and realized like, oh man, I know how to make songs. You know, I know how to structure a song, and then the MySpace and all that shit. So I feel what you're saying. I've even been in a beat battle and played, organized like actual songs, but beats. You know what I'm saying? And then the person next to me would play something crazy. So I'm like, okay, I got crazy, but my brain was just like, just play what I think is good right now. And that's some shit I would play in the studio. And I was just like, I had to realize, I'm like, it's unorthodox. It's a different. I'm gonna make these drum rolls go right here, and I would never do that. You know what I'm saying? But when I started, I didn't care where I put anything. You know what I'm saying? So it sounded good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. And I was always known for making weird shit until I realized, oh shit, I'm making money from actual songs. I'm making people snap, but I'm like, okay, I had to calm myself down, and I, get to the beat, but I'm like, damn, the old me I would have been on this shit. But I'm like, this shit ain't paying no bills. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, like, it's fun, it's cool, but
man. I can't. I couldn't agree more, man. I think it's just all on what you value and what do you want. You know what I'm saying? And for me, man, like, I mean, the beats, the stuff I listen to the most would never be in a beat battle. You know?
Bro, I'm a huge fan of like a good ass 4-bar loop. And that's it, bro. Like, that's really all you need type shit. And
for sure.
Not survive in the beat battle. Like, shit gotta switch. I remember the first time I really realized that beat battle and making beats is very different. I had a guy in Atlanta who wanted some beats from me for a rapper. And at the time, I had just finished the beat battle. My first, like, really only beat battle that I've been a part of. I had just finished them. So I had some hard beats, and so I sent them just to him, and he fucked with, like, all of them. And so I remember going down there to Atlanta to, like, stem everything out and shit like that. And the engineer was like, bro, this shit doing way too much. And I was like, this shit. And I had to explain to him, like, oh, yeah, this was for a beat battle. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I just really made sure that every 4 bars, the craziest shit happened.
For sure.
To keep that attention. He was like, that's what beat battle niggas do. Like,
man,
yeah, I guess that is.
That's crazy.
Like, it was just crazy. Like, I'm trying to like hear the nigga rapping over. I was like, bro, there ain't no space for bro. Like, you
can't get
up every 4 bars.
Right,
like,
that's crazy.
Like,
man,
crossing niggas over.
Yeah, like, completely stripped this.
Crossing niggas.
Man, he writing on the pad like, damn.
Like, wait,
go back a little bit.
This is like my whole beat career is I make shit that's easy for niggas to like catch a vibe to, bro. And so this was
That's crazy.
I'm watching him like struggle with this. And I'm like,
hey, I'm not even gonna trip. Like, even now, I don't. Like, if I'm creating, bro, I don't even be having nobody in mind. I never just started a beat was like, this is who I'm gonna send it to. I think I did that once, and I was like, it's because I had just listened to like Waka Flocka, and I was like, and he was a street over from my neighborhood at the time, so I was so I'm like, man, I had Waka, I'm bumping Waka, made the beat. It never got to Waka, it got to Dun Trip, and then for some reason Ball wanted it, and I'm like, oh Trip, hey Ball want this jam, and that's the beat that changed my whole situation as a producer. But it was just a simple fact. I'm like, damn, I went to this. Aiming for this artist, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that no more. I'm gonna just create. I like taking their energy maybe and making something, but trying to aim at a certain artist, I'm like, nah.
Bro, I'm just getting out of that. I did that shit for literally like the last 2
Yeah, you was on
years.
that, bro.
Yeah, like that's. But it always be like that. Like I'll be making this jump for Meg or whoever the fuck they like. All right, they got an opportunity here. G-Eazy working on that one, whatever. So I just make like a whole jump with listen to a whole bunch of that shit, get the tempos, get the keys, whatever. Make a whole. But that shit always end up like, oh, this nigga wanted over here.
Man, exactly. Because I think that we try to cater to what we heard them on already. So it's like
different shit.
Yeah,
we
That's
did,
it right there.
me and my homie Ray did a whole pack for 2 Chainz to actually get to 2 Chainz. And he fucked with a lot of that shit. But he was on some.
He'd already moved.
He was
on,
like, bro, this shit would have been hard for my last
Last
shit.
jam.
Right now,
And it's like,
I'm on some sample hip hop shit. I would have never thought for.
I'm like,
2 Chainz.
damn.
Like,
Yeah. But you listen to his last project, so it's kind of like the producers have to catch up if you're not with the artist.
Exactly, we gotta sit
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to sit with them.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times. It's the thing that you wouldn't play for them. That's what they look.
They love. Yeah.
And I'm not even saying I just at Quad. I've been in the studio and watched producers be like, yeah, and then artists just be like, yeah, that's cool. And then somebody just be like, yo, man, play me some other shit. Like, play me something you play for somebody else. And then as soon as you hit play,
They like, what?
oh, hell yeah,
I'll
throw that
skip
up.
beats.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, what?
I've seen that so many times.
I've let half a beat play, and because I know they weren't gonna like it. They're like, nah, go back.
back.
Hey, this shit hard, man. Hey, play more of this. I'm like,
Hey, bro.
I
I have my own ways of doing that, my nigga. I definitely be doing that.
Low key just.
I'm the master of that, though. I'm the master of the quick. I definitely do that, or I'll do it on some like, yeah, man, I'm about to play you some stuff in a second, bro, and I just be having something playing in the background on the low type stuff, you know what I'm saying, or I just have something coming out the phone right quick. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick AB on this mix right quick.
Man.
Yeah, anyway, bro. Exactly.
This whole thing?
Man, this shit like fire.
I definitely,
I definitely be
I almost deleted this junk when I made it.
Oh, you fuck with it?
I guess I say.
Let me go ahead and say it, bro.
I'm tripping. Oh man, so it'd be like that. It'd be like that. I want to ask a question. I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
I actually want to touch on something you said on social media. You said I don't know how to make a Memphis beat,
Oh yeah.
which is interesting. I want you to ask your question, but at some point I want to get to that. Yeah.
No, I can answer.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so I noticed something
Yeah.
about social media because one, I'm always in my bubble. I'm never really seen that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had thought about it. Like over the years, I'm like, man, like some people, of course, they say they want some Memphis shit.
Mm-hmm.
I would usually warm up making something simple. Like my brain would maybe start with a Memphis structure, but it would go left. You know what I'm saying? And then I thought about it like, all the people I've really worked for here in the city, it's not on the Memphis, it's Memphis side. But I kind of said that to just not be negative in a way, but I said it because I knew people were gonna take it and do their own thing with it. Like people shared it was like, oh, it gotta be in you. You know what I'm saying? Or some people were sharing it was like, oh, well, nah, that's why they need to come over here. And I'm like, yeah, my name is this on Facebook, but you don't even know who I am. And I liked it. I like people don't know that. Like
that was your list.
so the people that I had people like, bro, man, you should have, go listen to 3-6. I don't work with them. You know what I'm saying? But it's a simple fact. If you go listen to the song, it's not a Memphis. It's Dun Trip. 12 years in, none of that shit sound like Memphis shit. Like, and that's kind of what I meant, but I didn't want to explain it after I saw the, and I was like, wow. And I never had, I think I said something on IG as well, and I don't even speak out like that, but when I did, I was like, this story got like 500 engagements. I'm like, bro, but I'm like, damn, the little negative thing I said,
Oh, yeah,
just
niggas
took
ran
off. You know what I'm
with
saying?
it.
Because normally I'm just posting shit. I might play the talk box. I just do shit because the shit that I normally do, and I just decide to record it. So and I appreciate that feedback. I'm like, as soon as I see the smallest little thing, I'm like, it was like at least everybody that watched their story engaged on it. I'm like, that's wild. I'm like, damn, and I ain't do nothing but talk about producers. And it wasn't even a bad thing. I'm like, damn, but that's how it is. If it's no negative
Hey, so
energy.
what he's saying right now is that's why he came on the podcast today, man. He's like, we talking about producers. Let's go.
Yeah,
I need this content, my guy.
No, for sure. Like, I just feel like a lot of the producers, man, are emotional.
Oh, yeah.
They are emotional, man. Like,
Bro,
That's facts.
emotional. That's what I said on my IG. I was like, man, a lot of these producers are emotional nowadays, and it's like, if you understand the business, you understand you would put your emotions into your creation, but that business you can't have it. You can't have the emotion because you will ruin your bridge, your opportunity, and it's like you got to know how to cut it off. But a lot of these new producers ain't even made no bread from it and and already emotional. I was like, bro, that blows my mind. You know, it's something you got to learn though.
All it is that like the world is. It's such a weird dichotomy. And this is just across the board, but definitely with producers. Like, you know, I feel like the world is somehow more and less social. What I mean by that is like we're more social because of social media. Right? But that don't train you how to deal with actual engagement, with actual people's opinions. Because on social media, it's quick and easy to find 100,000 people to follow up. But how do you feel about what you're saying and what you're thinking when it's just you in a room or it's just you and another person? Right? And so there's much more of that happening, that kind of like reassurance happening on social media, but not real like learning how to deal with real people and their ideas. That's happening significantly less.
Exactly.
And I think that's just across the board, but definitely in the producer community where now producers are making beats and just sending them off versus producers used to sit with artists. Artists would disagree, artists would challenge, artists would ask you to do things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Now you just send an email and
praying.
That's it.
And hoping.
And that's it.
And as soon as somebody critique it, you feel the type of
now
way.
they hating on you.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Oh, he ain't nod his head to this beat. I don't rock with him.
I ain't get no IG post? Nah.
Oh man. He ain't even tagged me in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
So, I didn't see that post, but now that you're saying that, in your mind, what is a Memphis beat? And I asked that.
Good question.
Because
in your mind, what is a Memphis beat?
In my mind, what is a Memphis beat?
I'm about to share that, bro.
Because I had an idea
In my
of what a
mind.
Memphis beat,
Yeah.
and I guess it's children, right? But then, just yesterday or 2 days ago, my man Mad put me on to like how what I would have thought was the Memphis sound was not what Memphis was doing. It was like one group of people was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the, you know what I'm saying?
The rest,
Years later, that became
the stamp.
That's not what it was at first. So I'm just curious, like, what is a Memphis beat?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm maybe like one of the weirdest producers because I don't listen to music. I don't care to listen to music, so I couldn't answer that. But I could, like you said, sometimes I would have a image of it, but that was because people was asking me for this and saying, "Hey, this is like a Memphis type beat or whatever." It's kind of like if I would have did. So my partner did Hit the Quan, and everybody won't Hit the Quan. So it's like, hey, Buck, I need some Hit the Quan shit, or I need some dance, or if I did Crank That or something like that. And so like, it's popular. So that's what people gonna ask for, but they gonna name it like, I want some Memphis shit, like just cause the bag may be rapping his way on a certain type of beat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna ask for this type of beat, but not a bag. I want a Memphis type beat because that's what Memphis honored. That's kind of what they respected. They'll push that type of sound over our type of sound. So you can get an idea. I got an idea, but I couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's multiple. There is a Memphis beat, but it's like multiple eras of Memphis beats, and because the old era is not even coming back, is back like full-fledged now. That kind of blend in. But you get like the old the OG 808 kick, the Memphis snare. It's really hard to explain, to be honest, but you know it when you hear it. There's a Memphis snare, and then there's a new trap Memphis snare. It's kind of like the typical trap snare. But then you got the old Memphis snare, which is very short attack. It pops. It sounds like a real snare drum, like a marching.
Got a little bit more low mid.
Yeah.
And that's when I hear that snare, I know they're going for like the old 3.
Right.
That type of sound. The drum pattern, it doesn't have that much variation.
Yeah.
It just slows down and gets faster.
Right.
Hi-hats really don't go to the 30 seconds to 64. It's really 8, 16 notes.
Yeah.
When I'm making a OG Memphis beat, I don't even hit note repeat. Like it's I try to make sure I don't throw no 30 seconds. They really went on triplets like that. Like back then, some of them would, but most of them didn't. Cool. Niggas rapped in triplets. Niggas,
Nah, for sure.
Niggas rapped in
For sure.
triplets, but the beats wasn't really like they weren't really doing it. But then you got the newer Memphis. I think the era of a little bit before it take, and then you can go like then I'm skipping the whole like Drummer Boy like era, which that was the whole like more of a band sound, horns and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they really became Atlanta sound.
Nah, for sure.
Because he was working with all the Atlanta niggas, and so that's where we get trap in Atlanta and trap versus Memphis type shit going on. But all of that shit was some Memphis shit.
Yeah.
And then the newer Take Heed.
Let them niggas hear that.
Yeah.
Nah, let them hear that.
How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about the Drummer Boy era? Do any of y'all personally know him? Hey, I didn't want to. I be around some people.
Go on, man. Let him tell the story. Let him tell the story.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say this first. The Drummer Boy era is slick changed. I fuck with. I've never met the man, and so I don't know much about him personally. But his sound, and more specifically his brother, Insane Wayne.
Right.
Oh my God.
For sure.
It really changed what I thought Memphis music was. It was more orchestral. They had different vibes, it was big beats to me, like all of the just, and his productivity.
Yeah.
Nigga was on everything. We had a team of niggas. Drum squad was like a deep ass.
Yeah. I mean, I respect what people do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to like get messy or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
When niggas start to come, I respect what people do.
I call that the Stephen A.
I was the same way.
I love his mom. He comes from a great family. You can't stop at 26, 11, and 7.
But I agree with what you said though. I agree with like I was a producer, bro. Like when I realized what I was able to do, I'm not sure. Are you guys familiar with the Pack? Young L? They did Vans. Got my Vans on. Yeah, so I was a Young L fan, and he produced all them, and he rapped. So that's what I'm like, damn, I'm different like him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I used to be in school and, clicking shit and making shit happen, and people were like, bro, that shit different. So I'm like, damn, I like this. But anyway, so I agree with what you're saying. I respect Drummer Boy. But I kind of know how they operated back then with, and the thing is, I'm gonna share the story. So, Drum Squad, you mentioned Drum Squad. The youngest one name was Young Phenomenon. Mm-hmm. He was the coldest, buff man, rap fast as hell. So we met while he was on Drum Squad, and I produced his whole album. And I believe Drummer knew who I was after that, but during that album time, I kind of got a vision of him. They was like, yeah, bro, like Drum cool, but like he don't really be making them beats. Like he makes the beats, but then I remember like back in the day, Drum used to get on Twitter and you can stream on Twitter. Like before Twitch, it was just, I forgot what it was before it was called Twitch, Justin TV or something like that, or Periscope? Something like that. Yeah. So anyway, so like you can get on Twitter and stream. Y'all, man, y'all send me these beats, bro. I'm gonna play these just online. And his email would fill up, and he would go in the next room and make them just. But it was, bro. But it was like, damn, bro, you making these kids feel good.
Bro, I didn't.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Wow,
But
what?
yeah, but you making these kids feel good playing it online, but go in the next room and remake it.
Yeah, he had. I done heard stories like he had
But
a whole like
but you-
factory of niggas.
But you,
making shit.
yeah, and you got to understand, like, to be that creative and all them projects.
Yeah.
You gotta have, yeah.
It ain't no way he was like this nigga Gucci dropping 20 songs
Right.
a day, nigga. It
Bruh.
ain't no way you making
And
Wow.
and that's kind of how, like, you know, Mike Will. I respect Mike Will to the extent that he take care of his producers.
Sure.
It's a bunch of
in
them.
the same way.
Yeah,
It's
Timberland
a
had
bunch of
whole
them, but
field of it.
I just feel like, dang, bro, like, I know it's that hard to be creative. Like, Don Tripp is dropping every month. That's my boy. But I'm like, nah, it ain't even that. If I had, if I was in that position and Tripp was like, hey, I'm going 12 months, whatever. You finna look at me to do all this? You know what I'm saying? Like every month. And bro records those albums in like 3 days.
Damn.
So I'm like, yeah, who's finna sit here and create this shit
Bro.
all day long for you? I gotta get a team in. I would rather bring some other people in to help get them opportunity. Sure. I'm not finna take nobody's shit.
Yeah, but that's where I mean, at one point I just thought that was like that's just how I gotta go. I'm finna have to in the two, like when I graduated high school, I thought I was gonna have to move to Atlanta and become
And just do it, yeah,
that
just-
nobody knew. When nigga Wiz did this shit, like a lot of people just moved out of the city and became and worked with on some big ass Beyonce type records. And
No, for sure.
Timberland got the credit. Polo the Don.
Oh, no, for sure.
On the Polo list, and Jazzy did like it's
Black
like,
Elvis.
Black
You already know.
Yeah,
That's how I got. That's how I got. Yeah, for sure.
But I just at one point I just thought it was like, all right, this is just what it has to be. Like you got to go through this little gauntlet, and
Yeah.
hopefully you
Maybe
in a
your
session
name.
with these, or you just in a session with these person. You can one-on-one be like, well, Danger Hands did that shit. Danger worked under Timberland for years. Got in a session with, I think it was Britney Spears or Fergie, one of them niggas that actually built a real like relationship
Right.
with one person and actually get to them. All right, I'm gonna do this shit with, and
Yeah.
it's Timberland gonna take this one. But I got your number. I can get in the studio now. It's me.
It's
And I guess.
I just didn't like the credit thing, bro. Especially,
The credit and the money.
and I like looking at Kanye's repertoire on BMI, and it's a billion motherfuckers on that junk.
He gonna make sure niggas.
He gonna make sure you eat. And it's like, man, I actually had an opportunity where he heard one of my beats and wanted to add to it, but it was just kind of like it was for Vori, you know, and Vori wrote a lot of stuff on his stuff. So, and it was and at the time, Vori wanted to buy that junk from him. You know what I'm saying? So I got 2 songs with him, but it was just simple fact. I'm like, damn, bro, like the fact that bro even heard it. I might not ever meet him. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, damn, okay, bro heard something I did and wanted to add to it. That's enough for me to, yeah. But I feel like even if he did and he did something with it, my name is gonna fall in between. You know what I'm saying?
Get some paperwork and it's gonna.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, like I'm gonna get the credits. Like, yeah, I see my name, but they don't know who they don't know who started this beat or who started this, and he just did this to it, and it changed. You know what I'm saying? Like I respect how, you know, bigger producers bring up, you know, had their little proteges and stuff like that, but taking somebody's stuff and just stamping your name on it, I just couldn't be. I just didn't really respect it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people with big names, but I don't know. We were speaking on Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, bro had a run, but I mean, like as of right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure what he's been up to, but you know, it's a lot of people here that have done their things the wrong ways. You know what I'm saying? So, but, oh yeah, you said you had a story with him, didn't it? Wait, I just
What's
thought
your
about
story,
it.
Kid Maestro? Let's go. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
This man did not take my shit.
Nah, he did not, bro. Let's tell the story, my G. Yeah, that's it.
I went to U of M and did their like recording program, and so Drummer Boy and B.O.B. were like some guests that were brought in at the time. This had to be like 2017 or 18.
Hold on. Let's yo, for those listening in, man, like really listen, all right? Like, this is an amazing story. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
So, you know, this cool. I think this had to have been, I think this was before my computer got stolen. Just to give, so this was 2018, I believe. Sorry, 2018, and I've been working with Offum, a weirdo from Memphis. This is a dope rapper. The many years, part of the team. We had made this song called BW. It's if you've ever heard it, shout out. You know what I'm saying? It's not out anywhere, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll drop it in Underground AF radio.
We should do that for sure. We should definitely do that.
Yeah. And so so Drummer Boy comes to like the class, and the people in the class is only like 6 or 7 or maybe 10 of us in the class, and we get to play like 3 songs,
Right.
three productions, beats, or whatever that we did. So I come with three joints, and there's one joint called 7-Eleven that was on Stuntarius Volume 2. Another one called Fuck My Job, which is another underground, not out junk that we perform all the time, and this song called BW. So the first thing I play is BW. Now BW is, the hook goes, might I have some pussy? Might I have some pussy, please? And so
Hold on, what? Say that again?
Might I?
Pussy. Might I have some pussy?
Okay.
Please.
All right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
My bad. Go ahead.
And it's like, it's a weird beat. Like, I know you said I'm a very, and my sound was weird, especially back then.
Word.
Like, so it was super, like, it was different. And so, but I feel very confident in the song because every time, because it is so different, and it's very like, when you hear it, it's like, what? So I'm very proud of this song. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this jump for Drummer Boy. So I play the song, and he looks at me with a straight face, and I look at him with a straight face. And he's like, yeah, man, I think you should just stick to rap. Because, the writing is cool. Sometimes, you try to do too much, and like, you be trying to make the beat and rap, but sometimes you just need to focus on the rap and get somebody else to do the production. And so I think you should just stick to rap, you know what I'm saying? Because the raps is hard, but you know what I mean? And so I just look at him back and say, but I just made the beat. And he just look at me. You know how Drummer Boy is. He got the hat, the shades, up with the shades. And I'm just sitting in the chair looking at him, and he's just looking at me.
Oh man.
He was like, oh, okay. and then I play him, like, I got 2 more to play.
Yeah.
That was the
That's the first song.
Oh my goodness. Damn.
crazy every time you
I'm tripping.
So I played this other joint. It's called 7-Eleven. I play that. It's still weird, but I think it's a little bit more palatable. And he was like, oh yeah, Dre will play that. Talking about Dr. Dre. And now I know he's just like,
Nah, he's trying to cover
Dre
it, make
play
himself
that.
feel better.
all of a sudden Dr. Dre's fucking
Nigga, you told me to start rapping, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? But I just took that as motivation. Like, damn, Drummer Boy told me to stick to rap, and I ain't even rapping.
That shit's crazy.
And I played for him.
Like,
Basically, I have no place in this man's eyes. So it's like, you know what?
Damn.
That's kind of been a defeating moment or just motivation. So it's motivation. I guess I do hold it against him, but you know what I'm saying? It's all respect. You know what I'm saying? He made one of my favorite. He potentially made one of my favorite joints to put on by Young Jeezy.
Put on, oh yeah.
Especially the Kanye West remix version. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's always respect.
But then you would years later drop a tape called "Stick to Rap."
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and so this is interesting with the beat battle, John. The beat battle, just to step back, the beat battle, the first beat battle, I played shit that I just thought was cool. It was not good at all. Yeah, I fell flat. And then I learned, I was like, okay, I got to make stuff to actually like entertain people.
Right, for sure.
And then next time I went, I won. Right? And then me and C Major, we went for like a championship round, right? And we both got eliminated.
Can I ask what the name of the beat battle was?
Fresh Produce. And
Okay.
Yeah, they super dope.
I think I seen y'all posting about that.
We super dope.
Okay. I thought it was something here.
Oh, no.
I ain't never did a beat battle.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never got invited to do a beat battle.
Yeah, me neither.
So
Yeah, I need to. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so we both lost in the first round.
Let's go.
What?
I don't know, but us losing the first round was controversial in our eyes. But regardless, we took it with grace. But I had a batch of tracks that I felt like I had reached like a mix of like my personality and like something that was entertaining. I was really excited. So a lot of those beats is what ended up on my tape. Stick to Rap.
Okay.
Inspired by
Inspired by. That's crazy though. Damn.
I saw him at the airport not too long ago. I did not speak to him. You know what
Hey, that shit walk by. Hey, stick to Rap. Kid.
And what's that shit you was
That's like, I'm tripping.
I'm sticking to Rap now.
That's crazy. But yeah, man, it's that man.
You know what I'm saying? He did have a nice camouflage, you know what I'm saying, roller suitcase I was eyeing. I was like,
I'm tripping.
That's crazy.
Man, I'm
that's my
tripping.
Dumb Boy story, so.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out, bro. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I feel like we had. Man, this has been a great I know we still in the midst of it, but Red, man, thanks for joining us, bro.
I appreciate it.
It's been a great conversation, man.
For sure.
Great
Appreciate
insight, my man Red. What y'all don't know about Red is that the thing y'all don't know about Red is how much you don't know about Red. Right? This is a Memphis secret assassin, you know what I'm saying, that I know, you know what I'm saying. I'm privileged to know and understand it, you know what I'm saying? But man, it's truly an honor to have him here, man. It's really a really good brother that I can thoroughly say. I'm not just saying that because he's a dope producer. Nah, he's a really good dude, man. Really good dude. And that if y'all know me, y'all know his character over everything. And so, Red, thanks for joining us again, man.
For sure. Anytime, bro.
Yeah. I mean, clearly you looking to make content because, you got the, I know your true intentions now. It's all love.
Let me switch it up a little bit, man. Let me start talking. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with it, dog. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me for sure.
I think we had one other topic before we hop into Underground AF, right?
Yeah, and that topic was, drum roll please while I remember.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just look at it.
I think it was the art of mixing.
Oh yeah, mixing and mastering. Yeah. Okay. So what's the deal? What is the deal with that? What's going on here?
I'm tripping.
Yeah, mixing and mastering. When did that become one word? When did that become
Mix and master too?
When
did it become mix mastering? Mix and mastering, all no space.
I believe when these programs started advancing. When the program started advancing and people were like, I could just put this in here and it'll.
Let's
it
keep all
says
live.
mastering.
When Ozone 8 came out, let's keep it all the way live. Right?
I feel like Ozone 8 or whatever. I feel like that was like a prophecy that was filled because I feel like mix master the term came before the process of actually
for sure.
doing that.
For sure.
I don't think mastering was ever clearly defined. I don't think niggas ever really knew what mastering versus mixing was.
Bro.
That's right.
Especially,
Bro,
It
for
took
real.
me a minute, and I feel like I still don't be knowing. Like I be,
Bruh.
like I be understanding. Like I be trying to explain to niggas that know less than me, but I still be like, I don't know how to master. I know this shit.
send you a video or something. Right?
Bruh, but now look, I've only experienced like real mastering once. Real mastering where nobody in the building can say anything and they go through every like little millisecond. I've seen it when I'm like the whole day we was in the studio and I'm like, we can't cook up, and they're like, you hear chops and words and I'm like, he's like, nah, they ain't mastering today, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I was young, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, but then when I hear it now, it's like, give me 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I'll send you a mixed master over. I'm like, bro, we were there all day and the whole song, like, it was like the beginning of every word, they would play a millisecond of it. And I never saw what they were doing, but I just heard it. I'm like, what the hell going on in there? Like, You know what I'm saying? But then you hear it, and I'm like, this shit's fucking. I don't know who the guy was doing it, but I guess that's the real mastering. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was the only vision
So when I was an intern at Quad in New York, before I even had a chance to get any real assistant sessions in, they sent me to Sterling Sound, the legendary Sterling Sound on the southern end of Manhattan, to go and pick up some masters. And when I got there, it wasn't, they weren't done yet. So, but I couldn't go into the mastering engineer's room. Very private, scenario, very quiet scenario. So the guy who was running Sterling Sound, he was like, hey man, while we wait on your masters, you want me to give you a tour of the place? I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And I'm, I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just now learning what like attack and ratio is. Like, I don't know nothing. And he's showing me around, like he's showing me plaques on the wall. Like they mastered everybody's album, from Mariah Carey to Wu-Tang to Coldplay to whoever, you know what I'm saying? And then he takes me into a mastering studio. This is the very first time I've ever been in a mastering studio. And this whole time I'm thinking, oh, studio's a studio. Like you can record in the studio, you can mix in the studio, you can master in the studio, it's the studio. No. A mastering studio was dramatically different from a recording or mixing studio. Like, aerodynamically, the speakers, the common software and technology you would find in there. So for example, if you walk into any mixing studio right now, I would say 7 times out of 10, they got some Focals in there. Like that's like kind of the standard NS10 replacement right now. Focals, whether it be the twin or the 3, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Probably some, maybe like the white Mackie / Yamaha HS somethings, you know what I'm saying? Depends on your levels. Then you got like the Dyne X big speakers, right? Like these are, these are very common mixing. Mastering dudes, they don't know nothing about that. Like, each speaker be $30,000. Each speaker, one. One speaker be $30,000, right? The design of the room, the layout of the desk, the software, right? The software that they're using is not even like some like, oh, let me go to Sweetwater and get this type of. Nah, it'd be some like, just, like the only way to get that is to know somebody or to call. Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just be so exclusive, and it's so detailed and so refined, right? Watching them, I'll never forget tonight. I'm kind of giving up, how long I've been in the game, but it was funny because for some reason he wouldn't allow me in the studio to get the masters, the guy who was mastering what I needed to pick up. But the guy who was mastering Nelly Furtado's joint produced by Timbaland, he was like, oh yeah, come on. Right? So I'm watching him master this, right? And it was such a meticulous thing. It was so detailed and so, I didn't have the ears for what he was doing. I didn't know what he was doing. But I just saw him be like, oh. It was such a
chemist.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But when he was done, it sounded like what everybody heard. It was perfectly crafted, And I just remember leaving that and feeling like, okay, I get it now. Because my man Andros, big shout out Andros, my man Andros, I had overheard a conversation with him. Andros is a really dope engineer, recording and mixing engineer. And I just remember him being like, yo, mastering engineers, like that's just a whole other language. I don't even understand it. I just be glad to get done with the mix and get it to them. And I remember thinking like, yo, you being mad humble, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You could probably do it too. You do the mix. Once I seen it, I was like, nah, that really is a whole different planet of thought. Like,
for sure.
And so to have seen that, witnessed that at the highest level, literally the highest level, Sterling Sound, right? To like 2 years later, hey, yo, I'm mixing master, bro. You know what I'm saying? $13. What, dog? Like,
bruh, this shit is wild.
That should be a T-shirt.
I mix master. I mix a master.
I feel like too, like the true part of mastering is like some untold rules.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta gatekeep that.
There's some
Like,
secrets.
It's so
Facts.
Definitely.
Even the software, like you have to, like the
It's
software
so
is not.
secretive. That's why niggas don't be knowing. Like you don't see no YouTube videos. Like this.
I didn't even see the dude doing it. I just heard it, and the door was closed for hours, and I was just like, "Who in there?" I'm like, "What they doing?"
But
But
that's what
it's
gave
wild.
rise to everybody that needed some mastering. Ozone says, "All right, y'all ain't going."
Like,
I'ma make my own.
And it be the same
open
five
market.
niggas.
It totally
be
was an open market.
It
Totally.
be the same 5 niggas mastering every album. And they've been doing
tripping.
this shit for years, bro. Even here, like Kevin Nicks and Larry Nicks, his dad was mastering like Elvis shit, and his son did master like everything.
It's just gate kept in the mother.
Yeah, for sure.
Super
I'm gonna
gate
pass it down. Only my son gonna hear it.
Only my son, dog. His name King Arthur, bro. Like,
He groomed him. He at the table. We at the table. They eating breakfast. Hey,
What capricious?
man, what? Hey.
When it
Hurry up.
comes to like mixing, like I feel like mixing is a thing that like, of course, is better. Is always good to like get some training, but you can learn how to mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you ever be mad at somebody or blame somebody for going to like Lander or using Ozone when like? When you hear stories like that, where to start mastering, it's some software you couldn't even name me, and the speaker was $3,000.
30, nigga.
30. I'm sorry, $30,000. Like when somebody listening to this podcast here and be like, "Yeah, I wonder if I want to be a master engineer," and they say that, like,
nah, I mean,
How do you know what
becoming a
I'm saying?
master engineer is almost like going to Harvard. Like, not even, it's more gate kept than going to Harvard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I totally feel you on that. I feel like it was a flood ready to flow, you know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of like giving people access to like Ozone or whatever, quick scenario. But I think about that all the time. Like, even down to the equipment, right? So like, if you were to buy like, for example, like, I have a Manly stereo EQ right here. There's 2 different versions of this. There's this version and then there's the mastering version. Which one do you think is more expensive? It's got the same bands of EQ on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But just getting this is thousands of dollars. It's more thousands of dollars just because it says mastering on it. Like,
Wow.
That's some diet shit, some vegan shit.
we gotta get the
organic.
the
You niggas got the
mastering
organic
NPC. Mastering Pro Tools.
that's it, dog. We got Pro Tools LE, dog. We ain't got Pro Tools mastering, bro.
Yo, it's the mastering recording.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so I mean, so mix master, I feel like was like a precognition born out of ignorance, and then it became this thing that you could do in your mix process.
You can
You
get
know
a
what I'm
version
saying?
of niggas ain't doing that shit. Though. It'd be a clear difference between niggas really doing that shit and but you can get something that'll work though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, here, this is the thing, and this is why, like, okay, so there has been a revolution in the mixing world, right? We've seen, in the last, I want to say honestly, like the last 5 years, we've seen, whether it be Leslie Brathwaite, yeah, all the way to now, Michael Brower, somebody I thought would never, ever convert to in the box solely. You know what I'm saying? We've seen in the mixing world, software get so close where legends are saying, nah, yo, like, we can accomplish polished pop mainstream mixes that sound full and sound round, all in the box. That revolution for mastering has, at the top level, has not even begun, right? Let's be clear. It's dudes down the block on some Ozone 9. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is mastering pop mainstream albums in the box solely. They're all using analog tube, like they all have their Prism Mesolex and their variety of saturation hardware units. Like, software in that world is not there yet.
So I think we're at a crossroads then, because we either have to say that there's different levels of mastering, or we have to call what everybody else doing something different.
I feel you.
Niggas just mixing a little more.
They mixing on a stereo bus. We making it loud. Let's go.
Purity for distribution. That's literally how I define mastering to people. It's like, yeah, mixing is when you know what I'm saying, get all the elements and balance it with each other, and mastering is the process of getting it ready for distribution. That includes getting it at the
That's
window.
so sad, fam. That is so sad.
That's all.
That's sad.
only
You know what I'm
getting
saying?
it.
That includes the metadata. You know, like, you know, I just named all that stuff because, you know.
You can throw out, man.
Exactly. Man.
But even that's still gatekeeper, bro. You gotta get your ISRC
Yeah.
code embedded in the
I'm
file.
Niggas like, what?
What code? Shit.
That's just, you know what I'm saying? Man, I gotta stop doing that too. Just saying stuff just to be like, you know what I'm saying? I need to be like, nah, I don't really know what bastard is. All I know is it's louder than when I send it, and I know that it's listenable. And
Yeah. I could cut the volume all the way up.
That's real. That's real, bro. Nah, I'll never forget when I was like when I first decided to like show my face in this quote unquote scene. How people were. I remember going on Facebook at the time, and people were like, "Hey, man, if you mixing a song longer than 2 hours, you don't know what you're doing." And I was like,
That's crazy.
"What?"
I used to hear that shit and be like, damn, I'm trash. Like, what? Like 2 hours. What?
Niggas want shit immediately.
Nah,
So-
And that's again. I just realized like it's just again. Imagine I'm coming back from Quad Studios, Electric Lady.
Niggas sitting there for a whole day.
12 hours is the bottom level of a mix session. You know what I'm saying? 12 hours. You know, I'm coming back here and dudes is like, yo, if you mix for 2 hours, man, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, what? It took me a while to even realize like they didn't even know what track outs was. They didn't know.
Oh yeah.
That's
Like they was just.
Two check for sure.
Yeah, they was just talking about like making your voice sound good over a stereo MP3. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's nasty.
Nah, man.
Nasty word over
That's
there.
crazy.
you know, I recognize like at times that's the case, but I think that it's wild to just like brush across the whole board of like this a mix now is 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus like, okay, maybe that's a one-off, or maybe that's this unique scenario. You know, that's wild to me.
Might be a rough mix after the recording. So.
Man, what?
Man, what?
Man, that's it. But that was it too. It was like that was another thing, man. I had so many cultural scenarios here, man. Coming back, like in New York, it was like you record, right, and then you record, you get the session to a mixing engineer, and then that's when you get the mix. I was coming back here.
they want
Dudes
the
is
mix
they want
right
the
there.
mix. It's like and it's like they said, yo, let me get 3 hours of studio time. They finished dropping their verse 2.5 hours in. They expecting that last 30 minutes for you to be mixing the song. Like,
That's
and then once you give it to them, they gonna drop that.
shit.
Bro, like,
I've had
that's
that. I've
crazy.
definitely
bro.
had that a
Wow.
few
This
times.
is wild.
Bro, shout out to my cousin, bro. But, bro, my cousin, every time, and this nigga became a legendary ass nigga on some underground shit. Spooky Lee, shout out to that nigga. But that was my whole, like, we got into so many arguments that he would leave my studio with a rough ass song or some shit. Not even like level. I ain't putting a limiter on the master. None of that shit. Just a rough ass, low ass song. Nigga, on the way home in the car, that shit is already up on SoundCloud.
Facts.
And
I've definitely
this
experienced
nigga
that.
come back to me like, oh, this shit got 60K. I'm like, niggas listening to this shit? Like, I'm mad as hell. Like, I don't know.
Like, bro, this is not.
That shit used to have me like vexed, bro. Like, what is going on?
Can I ask a random question?
What's up?
What was your first program you started making beats on?
The first program I ever made beats on had to be FL Studio.
Do you remember the number?
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was like 3 or 4.
They're the same for me, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was about to say, I think I had the demo. I was just running through the demo like, this how you do it.
On which?
On FL.
FL? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just had the demo like when I was just learning how to make beats. When you couldn't
You couldn't
say
say
yeah, you couldn't say that shit.
So what are y'all using now?
I'm a machine right now.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm MPC. I use MPC
For sure.
software.
So I'm still with FL, but I think. Do y'all remember that studio, Universal, that was on State Line? It was like $1 million studio. It was owned by this Arab. But yeah, it was hidden, bro. But that's where that's how me and Dolph got cool, because from that studio, like everybody used to come in that joint, and my neighbor had like the Motif, and I think he had a Phantom, and then then he had the MPC. So I switched over. I had made beats for a whole year just with my fingers. You know what I'm saying? And when I got back to FL, my creativity was so stupid. And I think that's what changed me. You know what I'm saying? He was my next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? I just invited him to the studio. He was like, bro, well, it was a Studio B, and there was nothing in it, you know, but some speakers. He was like, bro, I got the equipment. You know, I'm like, my neighbor, like, he was like, I didn't know he made beats. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know I did music, so it was just like, it worked. And I think taking that time to create on those, you know, on actual hardware, and when I got back on FL, my placements went stupid. I don't know how, but it was just like, damn, that's when stuff started to blossom, for me. But I got to witness so many people come through that studio, bro. I didn't sell not one beat that whole year. I left Jackson State. I was gonna transfer to Memphis, and I was like, let me just give myself a year to just become Red on the beat, because I was a little Red on MySpace rapping and shit, but I kind of created Red on the beat then, and it was like, I don't know, pulling up to the studio on E and just like going through that whole thing. Like I got to see, like, Balls come, Gotti, Dolph, you know, before Dolph was Dolph, you know what I'm saying? And it was, that was dope for me. And so, like, getting back to FL, and I think about it now, I'm like, damn, like, could I ever switch? And I see, you know, I'm like, damn, I like hardware. And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm like I say, I'm weird, so it be so much new shit coming out, bruh. And I just don't, sometimes I just be like, look, I want to stick to what I know as long as it works for me, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like eventually I need to get around people that's doing, like, you know, like the hardware stuff, like, because I need to learn it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I need to learn it, but then again, I'm like, but it may better me, you know, like, you know.
I feel like you. Before I got my MPC, I had a studio in my mom's house in the spare room before I got with these guys, and that was like the most hybrid situation I ever had, because I had a Motif XS8, I had a Triton LE, I had like a Triton rack, and then I had another, I think, a Venom like synthesizer joint, and I remember trying to do all of that with FL, and it just was not possible.
It wasn't.
Just like recording audio in FL wasn't even a thing.
For sure.
And trying to sing. And so what I would do was I would just make my drums in FL and just try to hear them on what I was doing.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then put my drums in the Pro Tools, and then from Pro Tools I'm able to do
whatever you want with the.
And when I think about that process, I thought that was like. When I think about my process now and how streamlined it is, I was like, damn,
that's just crazy.
That shit was kind of crazy.
We were working harder.
Yeah,
we was working way harder than
imagination was crazy. I was like, yeah, I think this is gonna work.
Oh yeah, you didn't get to say yours, did it?
Oh nah, man. I was on a dot matrix printer. You know what I'm saying? I started off on this software called DOP. It was called Digital Orchestrator Plus. And it was created to make music for video games. And it had like, I think like 16 audio tracks in it. And so, I mean, we never used the MIDI portion of it. Like all we did was like, just bring in drums and sounds and samples. And literally, to me, it was like Pro Tools before Pro Tools.
Right. We
would just drag around like snares, kicks, hats.
Oh yeah.
And samples and chop them up like with a mouse.
Yeah. That's dope.
But like, I feel like that was the dawn of me. I feel like my first like software was what I would use next, which is Reason. Right? Reason was the very first thing I ever used that had reverb. You know what I'm saying? And delay and shit. You know what I'm saying? And EQs and stuff like that. Yeah. So I would go from that to Reason, and then I kind of, you know, I seen my man. I used to watch people use MPCs, and they stuff would just sound so sterile and just like dry, and like the stuff I was doing on my little broke computer was way harder. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, man, I'm good on the MPC, bro. I'm good on any of that stuff, man. I'm gonna keep my, you know. But then I ran into a homie who had an MPC, and his stuff was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, you made that on that? I'm like,
yeah.
And I was asking him, I'm like, yo, where'd you get the drums from? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh man, I just sample them from either records or this or from that, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, because every time I hear somebody use an MPC, their drums be sounding terrible.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's because they use the drums that come with it.
Come with it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. And I was like, damn.
Man, the MPC 808 not crazy. Like, that's all I remember from like going back to FL. I'm like, okay, I gotta make this shit knock like it was from the MPC.
FL got a joint too though. They limited and FL.
Oh yeah. You wanna know what's so crazy? I don't even put anything on my beats in FL. And everybody always like, bruh, and I used to always see everybody else FL with all this shit on the screen. I'm like, what, like, they be like, bro, how you get your shit sound so clear? I'm like, I don't do that. I don't do none of that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I've had the gift in the ear to where I didn't really have to do a lot of things that other people did. But then again, it's like, I wish I would have to at least know, understand it, because sometimes people get to talking about stuff and I'm like,
No, that's something. I mean, that's just as a fan of you, dog. Like that's something that I noticed off top, which is just that like a lot of times we overdo stuff, we overprocess, we overthink things. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, these three guys, man. At some point they came and either assisted or interned for me before it was Unapologetic or after it was Unapologetic. And they'll all tell you, the top 5 things I preach is sound selection. Before you think to EQ, mix, whatever, did you choose the right sound?
Exactly.
Period. Like so much can be mitigated. So many issues that you always trying to figure out how to make your kick knock, right?
Nah,
because it's probably not the kick. It's probably everything happened you got going on around the kick.
Around it, yep.
Absolutely. And that's my number one mix tactic. If you put up a Pro Tools session of mine, you'd be surprised at how little plugins are on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just because I make it a point to select the right sound.
Right, yeah, for sure. That's crazy. Nah, that makes sense because I never could really answer people, like, especially back then when they would hear my beats. And like I said, we was in $1 million studio and I was playing shit from FL like 7 or some shit like that. And it was like, bro, like, I'm like, I don't need all this shit in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just did it on, desktop or a laptop, you know what I'm saying? But people they didn't really get it. And I'm like, I don't know how it sound like that. I just know what sound good to my ears. And I know I'm not finna do it again if it don't sound good, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pick this. So I'll make it at least, manipulate it. But I don't know, like just being around, my dad, because I play by ear, but my dad played by, my dad is Tony Gentry, played the parquet. So I just, if nobody knew. But anyway, so like I grew up around it, and I think that helped a lot, just being able to hear different styles of music, to know what would go where and how it's supposed to sound and stuff like that, and marching band, of course. I did that all the way to college. So I don't know, man. And just being somebody that played by ear, I taught myself how to read music at a point in time. And I was like, damn, it's crazy, because I always just saw people doing it the other way, like in reverse, like studying the music and shit. And I'm like, I didn't want to do that. Like, I've been around all my life. I don't want to study it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to do it. Like, Roger Troutman said my name on a talk box. I wanted a talk box. And I had it for so long, and then it was a thing that became popular. I was like, damn, how did shit just come popular? You know what I'm saying? I had this since I was a little kid. But
you would be killing them just. I'd be scrolling on IG and see you doing that.
I appreciate it, bro. And that's what I just used to do coming home from school. You know what I'm saying? And years went by, I didn't do it, but I was like, man, I just got it. And I started seeing this trend on TikTok, and I'm like, bro, y'all are doing it wrong. I was just like, but then again, I'm like, hey, it's whatever they want to do. And it kind of faded off quick, but I'm like, man, like, if you know what you're doing, you can do it. Because I don't play like that. It's up here, you know what I'm saying? And
bro, I can't. Yeah. Man, we gonna say this, and then we're gonna have to underground. Because you just touched on something that is like, it has been so important to my journey, man. I've never been to any formal education for anything music. I've never, I don't have any musician family members that have showed up. I have a cousin who was a musician, but we didn't grow up with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but man, like, but you know what was like the best education for me when it came to music? It was my dad's taste in music. Like, so my dad's taste in music tempered my ears, right? Listening to soul, jazz, you know what I'm saying? It tempered my ears in a way that where I've never had a music lesson in my life, but I tell people all the time, like, you're less a function of your skill, you're more a function of your taste.
Nah, for
Right?
sure.
Because even if you don't know how to play it, you'll sit in front of that jump for 5 hours.
Until you get this.
But you got to have the vision. You have to have the taste to
sure.
say, nah, I need this to feel like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And how that, like, with that being my literal only weapon, like, that's what spawned a career in music. To where now, in the last few years or whatever, I have made it a point to, like, learn theory, but I'm not learning theory to learn how to sound like them.
Right.
I'm learning theory to understand what is it I've been doing all this
whole
time.
Exactly. Yep.
And then know how to do it better and in newer ways.
Right.
You know, because I can go back and listen. I was listening the other day. I was listening to stuff I made like literally 1,000 beats ago, and how much it still sounds like me. How through no education, through no learning of music theory, have I strayed from me.
Right.
I just know different ways to do it now.
To do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's dope, bro. That's dope. What you saying that I didn't know. You know, when I got to Jackson State, I went to major in music because it's kind of all I knew. You know, and I was there for marching band. Didn't even want to do marching band no more. And so my last name is Gentry, and they put me in this piano class, and the teacher's last name, you know, and her last name was Gentry. So she used to be on me, but like, I used to look, and people was playing like Mozart and like fingering and shit like that, and I'm like, what the fuck I'm doing here? I ain't finna play that. You know what I'm saying? But then it was like, I challenged myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, she'd give us certain stuff, we had homework, but see, I couldn't read music. All this stuff was on paper. I just remember how it sound. So like, I leave, and the next day I wake up, still remember how it sound. I go in like the private rooms. I'm looking at the page, but I remember it, so I'm trying to teach myself. So every test, bro, like, I would go in there and play it. Oh, Mr. Gentry, this just like the record. And I'm like, all right, you know, okay, I know I can do this. But like, I was doing it so hard, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, and what really opened my eyes was, you know, it's a ton of scales, and we have to play them the right fingering, right. And I'm like, that shit dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it sounds like. Can I just play it? Yeah. And I remember I messed up on the fingering. Our final exam, end of the school year, we got to sit right next to her, play all the scales, bro. Like, that shit was crazy to me. And I missed the fingering, and she was like, And I'm like, but I know what it sounds like. Can I press it with this one? And I'm like, in my head, and she was like, no. And she's like, what did you learn in music theory? I'm like, I didn't take music theory. You didn't take music theory 1, 2, 3? She was like, why are you in my class? I was in the junior class my freshman year, passing with a B. And that's how I knew I wasn't. I'm like, I need to go home and make this producing thing work for me.
You know what it is, man? First of all, man, salute to that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is, though? And this is something I had to realize, like, to make a distinction of when it came to these kinds of spaces. These people trying to teach you to play piano. They're not trying to teach you how to be a creator.
Exactly.
And that's different.
It's so different.
It's so different. And once I realized that, I was like, okay. I'm going to have to learn this on my own. You know what I'm saying? Even down to, like, even when I see lessons on YouTube, I make up my own version of the lesson. Like,
boy,
you know. So,
it's
I
crazy.
love that, man.
Nah, for sure, yeah. And that was my turning point. I'm like, I got to go back and take these classes. Like, nah, hell nah. I just passed you with a B, and then they wouldn't even count it. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm gone.
Wow.
Oh, it didn't count?
No.
That's
Because I didn't take none of the...
Well, how do you, bro?
They just threw me in classes, bro. Like, Jackson State just...
How do they throw you in the class without, like...
That's why when I got there and they over here...
Those are prerequisites.
Bro.
How do you get in the class? Like, it's not like you gotta have a record.
I was asking the same shit.
What's the name of your clothing line?
I'm like, bro, I was asking the same thing, bro. But it was the end of the year. Summer was starting. I was like, you know what? Like, I just did this shit, you know, for no reason. But then again, I'm like, so what the fuck was I gonna learn in all these classes? She just listed to me before I could even get to her class. I'm like, can I just, you know what I'm saying, bypass that shit? But you can't. You know what I'm saying? So I left.
That's
And I was just like, I'm going to create this Red on the Beat shit. This shit got to pop. You know what I'm saying? I was going to transfer to University of Memphis, but, you know, luckily the placement started coming. So I was blessed for that, you know. But, yeah, that college, that's how I knew college. My mama, anyway, she was like, just give me a year.
You know what? We need to have a whole. One of the future topics needs to be like, you're a musician and your parents want you to go to college. that is an episode. Like, you know.
I feel like Kid gonna be the only one that's vouching for college.
Kid gonna do the same thing he did today. I feel positively about it. I think that.
I mean, we want to go there.
Nah, we good, bro. We good.
I definitely got some things to say.
We good, bro. Let's get to this underground AF, man. Kid, you want to pull it up and hop on the Bluetooth? So y'all know what it is, Type Beat. We're listening to Underground AF. And for those who don't know what Underground AF is a playlist. What? Nah, Underground AF is a playlist in the Unapologetic World app that is dedicated to unfinished, unmastered music, right? The whole idea came from essentially me looking at my hard drive and realizing, teammates, close that door. Essentially me looking at my hard drive and realizing I have hundreds of songs on my computer that I will probably never put up on Spotify or any sort of DSP. And so because of that, I won't mix it or I won't master it. But they're still cool songs, right? And just wondering, like, man, is there a place for this? Is there like an underground place? Because back in the day, that's what the underground was, right? Now the underground is SoundCloud, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make a space that people knew they could send, whether it be voice memos, terrible recordings, or just stuff that never got mixed and mastered. And we called that Underground AF. It's available in the Unapologetic World app, available for iOS and Android devices. It is free. You have absolutely no reason to not go and get this junk unless you ran out of space on your phone. And in that case, go ahead and delete that dumbass app you just got it last week and get the Unapologetic World app. Stop playing. Kid Maestro, how we looking?
I think we're ready.
Okay.
So this first joint is called Mental Health.
Mental health.
By Ultraviolet.
Okay. Hold on one second, my guy. Hold on a second. Are you? Hold on, what? Are you connected to the Bluetooth? Yeah. Why am I hearing that? Oh, because I'm also connected. Interesting. I didn't even know you could do that.
I mean, either.
Bluetooth came up, man. All right. Okay. All right, who is it again?
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet, let's get it.
Mental Health.
Is this? No, it's not
I just wanna get my mind right. All these thoughts got me up at night, trying to get out of my mind.
sure, that was Ultraviolet with Mental Health. Available on the Unapologetic World app. That's a vibe. Definitely on some mental health vibes. You can feel it even if you don't listen to the words. Get your mind right, meditate, stay to yourself for a little bit. Take your face off of your phone unless it's in the Unapologetic World app, because that's also mental health. You know what I mean? Shameless. Big shout out Ultraviolet. You know what I mean? Let's get it. What else we got, kid?
Let's see. We got What You Mean by St. Lucas.
Big shout out to St. Lucas.
All right, here we go.
Like what you mean? I've been lit as fuck on go ever since I got green cash. Bella bitch but broke as fuck, I left her ass on scene. Cash rule everything around me, all about my cream cash. He burned up the spot for talk, I'm scratched it up this scene. Drop that low on Booker, he gon' burn it up like cash out on your bitch, this if she bad as fuck. Bella bitch, but still can't trust that bitch, her shit I ain't enough. I don't trust her so, why all my best friends dead, I rubber band them up. I can't trust her so, especially that bitch, they move too shiesty. Niggas rest, they running packs, they low-key dodging diamonds. Diamonds hit so hard, I wear 2 chains and bitch be fighting. To you she bougie, let me grease, I got that touch like Midas. Show no love, just fucking leave. Use no feet, stay on your knees. Unless I play the spread, no time to parlay, bitch, I need my feet. Put titties on the Glock, he slide, he flashing out them double D's. My Jolo might not come in peace, don't run with rest, still need my cheese. Bella bitch, I love her features. Paint her face, no Mona Lisa. Say I pay your bills after we fuck, I'm lost, I caught amnesia. Pussy good, I double back, bitch, turn up if you want it. She love the dick, gon' tell me no one call, I push up on like what you mean? I been lit as fuck on go ever since I got green cash. Bella bitch but broke as fuck, I left her ass on scene. Cash rule everything around me, all about my cream cash. He burned up the spot for talk, I'm scratched it up this scene. Drop that low on Booker, he gon' burn it up like cash out on your bitch, that's if she bad as fuck. Bella bitch, but still can't trust that bitch, her shit I ain't had enough. I don't trust her so, why all my best friends dead, I rubber band them up on game. I ride Dolo, might not come in peace, don't run with rest, still need my cheese. Say I pay your bills after we fuck, I'm lost, I caught amnesia.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. It's a couple of them.
Nigga had to filter the beat. Like,
Right?
Yeah, you gotta hear that. Let you know. Outside.
Came back.
what you talking about? Nigga?
Shout out St. Lucas. That was St. Lucas with What You Mean.
What you mean?
Yeah. What's y'all thoughts on the song? Y'all need to respond to that, John. What's up?
This shit was hard.
Yeah.
What was that last line, bro?
He had some lines in that, John.
Crazy.
Damn.
That's some.
I was gonna pay her bills after we fucked. She should have known that was a setup. That's her fault.
Got that check before it.
Should have got your payment beforehand, son.
Fair for the Okie doke.
Got a deposit.
Should have got a deposit. Half before.
Layaway, yo.
Layaway.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got. All right. So we got For the Sake by ELO.
Come on.
Let's go.
And now I'm gonna turn my volume up.
Yo. Bro. Already. This is. Dude.
Oh, this is D'Angelo.
I'm gonna fight this nigga.
Bro, it's not fair.
sound design on that was crazy.
Yo, out of this
So I
world.
punched that nigga in the face.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Elo, for that, man, we cause him bodily harm, man.
Body off top.
Violence.
Off top.
Yeah.
All right.
Off top.
What we thinking? Like two more? Two more? All right. So next we got FJLT by I Make Mad Beats.
Come on.
Bounce coming up.
Yeah. That was
Bruh.
nasty.
You had
That
to
was
have
an
made
adventure.
that with no MIDI. That had to have been like all audio.
Oh, that's exactly what it was. It was all
You
audio.
could just hear the
Yeah.
analog tracks. You know what I'm saying? It's just a sound. You could just hear it.
Nah, I hit every channel of the Neve with that one. Every channel, man. So it was actually right after I got it. So that was like a beat I made to test out. You know, just going wild into the Neve. And that's why it sounds like that.
It's fire, bro.
Sounds fun.
Magical. Felt like I was in the video.
All right, this is the last one. Lost. All right, we got Die Before, featuring Smurf Doggy, Ari Hotep.
For sure. Die before. I'm gonna say before. It's a 4 there, but I get the feeling that it's before. You know what I'm saying? On some what's that? Niggas for Trump, John? You know what I'm saying?
Niggas for Trump. Niggas for.
Bruh, while y'all talking, man, this man done made another campaign, bro. Everybody on this side now. Anyway, here we go.
We got a political type beat. Anyway,
It's for Trump. Let's go.
Wanna be original, gang got a copy. Worry about my pinky finger, never kept a snow bunny. Need a tunnel, glass of water, slice of cucumbers. First class flight attendant, bring the road runner. Kids confused as a clueless cartoon. Plenty blurred lines between a fork or a spoon. Talking ribs off a bone. Plenty years since consumed. Empires falling from the wounds of the tomb. Hard and dramatics. Cremate spread ashes. Live life in blissful laughter. Recollect family matters. Don't dream about the afterlife today what matters. Be patient on the hook. Just another chapter.
Man. I'ma keep it pimpin' at all times. I ain't trippin' on what you doing, cause it's all mine. Shine and recline while I roll up a fat junk. Why you gotta do all that to get across your point? I hear you, baby, say no more, say less. I'm pulling up shortly. Grab a drink so we can conversate. Tell me what's on your mind, maybe I can relate. I got you, I'm on the money chapter. I don't have time to waste, cause I'm going after. I'm not going backwards. Do you fit in my future endeavors? Only if you break bread and stop being selfish, yeah. Only if you break bread and stop being jealous, yeah. Wanna go through my phone and check out my messages? Can you leave it alone because it's getting ridiculous? Everything gon' work out eventually.
Hey, he skated so hard on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard. My dude's style, I mean, so first of all, the first verse sounded poetic as hell. That was clearly a poem turned into a rap. The second one, it was just the energy off top. Like, just the yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just the energy.
Nostalgic for the
For sure.
Yeah. Say no more, say less.
Right.
The interesting part is that that whole phrase could have been shortened.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, no, you gotta understand what he's saying. Say no more. No, say less. Like
that was hard though. I love that. Yeah.
Okay, but that concludes our
Tight Beat segment. Yeah, man. Tight Beat again. We listen to Underground AF Radio submissions every week, so feel free to get the app and leave us some songs to play in the app. Again, if you submit some songs, you will be invited to something very special at the end of this season. And so we welcome you to come by Outer Space and join us in a unique fellowship. I feel like a preacher. But with that being said, one more time, Red on the Beat, thank you for joining us, my brother.
Appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? It's an honor, a blessing. I didn't realize I was gonna get so many cool Red on the Beat stories. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was gonna get some perspectives. But I appreciate the stories as well. It felt like you kept it all the way real, which I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of the podcast. This has been Tight Beat. We are at Outer Space, an unapologetic studio. Right next to me is
Kid Maestro with the retwist.
And right next to him is somebody without a mic.
I said I was going to pay her rent after I fucked. But I had it.
Damn.
Red on the Beat.
LJ1S.
And on the tape.
Sheena.
And in the back.
Unique.
Indeed. And this has been Tight Beat. Y'all have a great morning. You know what I'm saying? Good morning to everybody across the world. Good night as well. Y'all be safe. Stay dangerous. Peace.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit. Here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.